Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me for this week's edition of the SMIE Consulting Midweek Roundup. It's Wednesday, August 20th, and today, 2025, and today we're coming live from the University of Akron campus where we're hosting our brand new international students from 100 plus international students from 39 countries when all's said and done, that have been arriving over the last few days. Some are still yet to have arrived because of delays in getting visas. And probably in most of our minds in international admissions land is probably the most stressful intake new student orientation period that we've ever experienced. Certainly back in 2020, fall of 2020, it was fairly predictable given the travel restrictions that were blanketing the world and making it relatively difficult for anybody to travel. But here in the United States, in 2025, we've experienced the most challenging, in the politest word possible, 8 months of government regulation changes, impositions, visa delays, new policies, all sorts of problems that have made this group of students that have made it to campus probably some of the luckiest international students to have ever come to the United States. The fact that they've navigated successfully the most complex set of visa hurdles that have ever been witnessed in the United States, and certainly in my 32 years in the business. So today, it's always, no matter how challenging the circumstances have been, the new student orientation day, week, however many days you have it on your campus, it has to be the most exciting time of year. Yes, certainly we've gone through the challenges, but these are the students that we've developed relationships with over the last year or longer. For some of these students that have jumped through multiple visa denials, then finally getting their visa approved, the ability to arrive in the United States and to begin their studies and realize their dreams. The excitement on their faces, the weariness as well for those who've just arrived in the last 24 hours. You certainly see that in their faces, but more the excitement, the challenges that they've overcome to get here makes these students some of the bravest people on the planet. The willingness to study in another country and likely a second, third, or fourth language, to remove themselves from all that they know, to study and make their lives and improve their standing in what they do. It's a brave student that makes that decision, brave person. And we're blessed to have a good number of them coming to us this fall at the University of Akron. Now, we know the challenges that we faced. We know that, well, suddenly visa appointments are becoming available in India in the last few days. Too little, too late for those of us with mid-August starts. So great for those of you with September starts. Hopefully, you can still get a few in the door. But for I've shared this last week with the live, that we've had an incredibly challenging year with visas, particularly in twofold: visa appointments and visa denials. One of our agent partners in India sent us 130 applications, 45 got I-20s. Only 15 of those 45 were able to secure visa appointments in India. Uh, Worse yet, none of those 15 got visas approved, which is shocking. We had averaged 60 to 70% visa approval rates in the last couple of years from India, and India was by far number one intake, the largest single group of students on campus. Now they are in second. Um, and that's hard to wrap your heads around. Certainly hard to predict to leadership on campus when it comes to visas, that they're all of a sudden just getting denied when one agency with 45 students eligible to go for visa interviews, only 15, a third, were able to get appointments, and none from one agency were able to uh, be successful in their interviews. 15, that's sad. Um, the we're going to obviously look at the students that have gone through that agency again to see if there's challenges there, where they went for their interviews, do a kind of a postmortem on this. And that's important to do, to get a sense of if it was timing, if it was, did they get caught up in this month-long visa pause that happened at the end of May to the middle of June? Were they just not aware of the visa issues, though we even provide visa counseling services free of charge to students through a company that is made up of U.S. consul officers, former consul officers that are the ones doing the frontline visa interviews. We even had them include information in recent sessions on how they should handle social media with the new questions and having to make their profiles public and when that needed to happen in the process, all of these things. So we're covering them. Were these students the ones who got denied from India, the ones did they take advantage of these free sessions, or did they just decide to do it on their own? These are the things we need to find out and troubleshoot and kind of establish new procedures that make that less of a possibility. But I don't think anyone, frankly, could have predicted what was going to happen. We did so much on the fly in the last few months to adjust to changing policies on behalf of the government, and how we've left ourselves as much runway in terms of creating late arrivals, later than we've ever created before for particular academic programs, to make sure that students have the chance to get their visa appointments in time and to still start their studies and not be too far behind. So there's real work that has to be done every year, and especially this year when we are faced with as complicated a process as any of us have ever seen in the industry. And I see colleagues posting on Facebook and LinkedIn their student orientation pictures, and I shared a few of those today myself. And as we always do, you have to be upbeat, you have to be positive for these students because they are the survivors. They're the ones who've been through the ringer to get here, and we need to be celebrating them. One of the things I've always done wherever I've had the opportunity, and we're just starting to do that this year, is to capture some of this enthusiasm for those that are just arrived, who are excited, who want to share their story, capturing some of that on the day of orientation or shortly thereafter, scheduling appointments with students to meet with our international ambassadors, get a short, quick video recorded of them talking about why they chose to come here, what they're most excited to see and experience while they're here, and what's most surprised them about their transition to the United States and to coming to our campus. So those are videos that took 30 seconds to a minute at most, that we were able to record with 6 of our new students that have started today. And that will provide a nice foundation of content that we can then use on our socials, through our comm flows, through our partner messaging, through what we make available to agents that they can then use to help recruit future students from their countries to come to us, to get a sense of, hey, why should I come to this institution versus another? And when rubber hits the road, and rubber is a very appropriate term here in Akron, where synthetic rubber was first patented by faculty members at the university here. And the building behind me, Polymer Science, the big glass building, is a direct result of the funding that still continues to come into this institution as a result of the #1 ranked polymer science program in the world here on our campus in Akron, Ohio. So those stories need to be celebrated. Those stories need to be captured. What has motivated them to make the jump to study in the United States here at our campus, whether it's the job placement rates, whether it's the lower cost of living, whether it's a more reasonable tuition fee, whatever the case may be, we want to capture that. Whether they've had a family member attend and they're the second. We've had successful alum who graduated a couple of years ago, is working in the work world now. He's won an award from the Ohio International Consortium, and his brother now is beginning to start. He's from Honduras, and his brother now is starting his studies here. Slightly different major, but certainly following in his big brother's footsteps, and that's always a great story. It resonates and means that people are willing to come back, or families are committing to our institution. So those are the stories we love to hear. And a student from Uganda denied a visa twice, went to our training sessions I was talking about earlier, and now she recorded a video and shared her story, and we're going to be getting that out too on how important it is to take advantage of the free services we're offering to help you get your visas and get here. So these are the things we want to capture. Stories that we're able to capture today will help to generate some great content for us for as we build out our next year's com plan, and how we fit this into our socials and cross posts, get some of these on our website, have that content and available in as many places as possible, and make it a part of who we are and how we get our messages out. So obviously new students that have arrived who have experienced a very different uh, transition to us than even a year ago was happening, or 2 years ago, or 5 years ago, whatever it might be. We want to follow up with some of them a few weeks after they've arrived, and there's some who are arriving late that we weren't able to talk to for these spot interviews that we're going to go into a little bit more in depth and have them actually talk about what it's like on campus now after they've been here a month, and say, hey, this is all the stories you hear about America being unwelcome and the policies maybe not the easiest to navigate. The reality is, once you're on campus and in the care of the International Student Office and the faculty and the current students and other staff at the institution that they're attending, their experiences are actually fantastic, that they're fitting in, they're feeling the support, they know where they are, they know what they need to do, and they feel like they have access to the resources that they need to be successful. And where you can have your current students tell that story, that is what can override, in the end, the negativity from the government perspective. Unless they completely shut down the borders, completely don't allow anybody to interview for visas, students will still want to come. And when we have our current students tell the story of what they're experiencing here now, they're the ones who can best market your program, sell the concept of studying here. They're the ones that you really need to be front and center with your future students. Have them take the lead on telling your story. So that's what we're our focus this year, with certainly capturing the energy and the enthusiasm of these new students on their first day of orientation here, but also looking down the road 6 weeks, 2 months, and say, hey, what's your experience really been like? What do you find most valuable about your time here on campus? What are we doing right, and what we're doing wrong? Help us navigate what we can do to improve, because we never should be sitting still with how we handle our international students on campus and the level of service that we provide. And there are things. This is my first fall orientation with at the University of Akron, and seeing changes that we can make to improve efficiencies, to involve other places on campus that can and should be that are already doing the kinds of things we want to do for our international students, that we need to perhaps invite into that conversation. And hey, our students have never had a tour of campus. Let's invite your student orientation to do that for us, and improve the way we communicate, and how we handle the day-to-day or the hour-to-hour operations of the orientation program. Had some nice food, some really good conversations, and I think the content of the sessions is good, and we just need to make sure we maintain that throughout the full day. So that's what I had for you today. I'm not going to do a full half hour today because of the orientation going on as we speak. I want to make sure I get back in there and be there for our new students, and obviously for me to soak in as much information as I can about the process on campus. And since I'm a remote employee, the importance of being here at the most significant times of our new international students' lives is something I take very seriously. So, as we do each week, we sign off with sharing a wish that we are able to keep in touch and get back in touch with you in the weeks and months to come. So, from the University of Akron and our famous mascot Zippy, I wish you all the very best, and have a great day.